Hey, do you love a good story? Great. Then you got to check out the #Storytime podcast. Each episode brings you the craziest, creepiest, and cringiest stories from YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and beyond.
My story is about the time that I was broken up with at the 9/11 memorial. Twice.
Look, the internet is a dumpster full of stories, and I, your host, Will McFadden, dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but treasures. Listen to all 21 episodes of #Storytime now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and good morning, Charles. How are you doing today?
Hey, Arrow. I'm doing great. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. I got to tell you, this book is more than just a book. It's a work of art. This is the presence of now, and it's so vibrant with what we see on an everyday basis. And I hope to God that it teaches people to look beyond what they call graffiti and see the art in the performance.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to hear today.
Well, you know, the importance of street art, I mean, it really tells a story. I just wish people would understand that people are just putting their story out there, that it is a work of art.
Yeah, definitely. I've been inspired so many times by a piece that I've seen on the wall, a graffiti piece. And I definitely, with this book, I want children to actually, observe their walls in their community in a whole new way and take something from it. If they hate it, they hate it. If they love it, that's awesome.
You bring up a very interesting point, because in these changing times, one of the things that's starting to happen is that we are to be able to look into every culture and see their story. Do you not think that this book is one of those journeys as well? Because so many people would like to basically judge the graffiti and the artwork, and maybe what we need to do is start sitting down and hearing the story of the cultures.
Certainly. I mean, there are so many amazing artists just walking the streets every day. And, a lot of them don't get their flowers until they're in the Brooklyn Museum, like Cause. And I want the community right now to look at, these amazing graffiti artists right now before they have the big shows in the big New York City museums, and give them their flowers right now and say, we think this is awesome.
Don't you think that this book really puts the light on the celebration of the experience? Because for the artist to be able to do that on a wall or a building or even a car on a train, I mean, you still have to go through an experience. Definitely. And a lot of times it's, you have no support. So it can be 10 times harder than any other, artist in the street art, medium has to deal with. I'm a muralist myself. I get a lot of support. So yeah, it's very different. How does the artist create the craftsmanship? Because I mean, I'm just blown away by I mean, how do you look at a building, the side of a building, and see the entire canvas when I can barely do something on a canvas that's 8.5 by 11?
Well, me myself, I'm not a graffiti artist. This book is basically a love letter to all of the graffiti artists in my community and the way that they're able to envision these amazing pieces that they create. I definitely am looking at this. I look at the graffiti art like a child. So it was that much more easy for me to write from the perspective of a child in this book.
I got to tell you, I hope this book grows beyond just what you've seen right there in New York City and stuff like that, because, I mean, the Greenway here in Charlotte, the one that's uptown, takes you by these walls that have the graffiti, and that's part of the expression of the city. And I'm so glad that they didn't erase that from these areas.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a lot of history, and just, you never know, one of those artists who, left a piece there could be the next Basquiat, Keith Haring cause, the list goes on.
Well, I mean, like dance, street art has a deeper story, doesn't it? I mean that, and maybe that's what needs to happen. There needs to be a plaque or something beside that street art that explains, or is it all in the interpretation?
I'm all about interpretation. I think people should definitely see things the way they want to. I think, the way things are presented in museums with a lot of context is amazing. But I also just love looking at something and saying, hey, this looks awesome. And even when people, tell me what they think about my art without any context given, it's always something different and new. So I love hearing,
reviews, good or bad, and they always give me something new that I didn't even see before.
Am I wrong to believe that even when a gang tags something, that I see that as art? I love the signature. I love the design. There's flow in everything that is presented.
Yeah, I mean, no matter who is doing the design, it's a design that they had to sit down, they had to think about, they had to they had to go over and over and decide if they liked it or not. And I say it's up to the viewers to interpret that the way they want, and they should be free to like it if they do.
Now that you've documented everything inside this book, Boogie Boogie Y'all, I mean, it's one of those things where people are going to travel to the cities to see the artwork upon the walls. And what happens, I mean, in a gallery, they refurbish paintings. Will they refurbish what's up on the wall, or do we let time become the history of this is where it once was?
Well, I feel like a lot of the pieces that I see around Fordham Road, where my studio is, they have been there for a long time, and they continue to live on, and some are gone. I think it's up to the community which ones they like. That'll stay there for a long time, and the ones that they don't like will disappear and maybe be replaced by something even better, or just different.
I'll tell you one thing that saddened my heart was that, first of all, what the beauty of when people were able to express their feelings through art after the George Floyd murder. What happened was that here in Charlotte, uptown, the streets were painted with these brilliant paintings, but now cars are driving over it. And as an artist, it's like, is that really what we were in just a moment when it should be an everyday occurrence?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing about street art. Sometimes, paint peels and things get painted over, walls get demolished. So you really have to take it in at the moment and, really, photograph it, tell your friends about it, and really just appreciate it while it's there. In museums, it lasts forever. In the street, not so long.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, this book does provide that forever, because you have documented something here that's going to reach into generations that are going to be far beyond you and I cannot thank you enough for bringing this book forward.
Yeah, thank you so much. And a lot of the graffiti artists who are featured in the book, you can actually walk around the Bronx and actually see them. So you'll be finding out about a whole new genre of artists.
I'm so proud of you. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
Thank you. Be brilliant today, man.
You as well. Thank you.
Hey, do you love a good story? Great. Then you got to check out the #Storytime podcast. Each episode brings you the craziest, creepiest, and cringiest stories from YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and beyond.
My story is about the time that I was broken up with at the 9/11 memorial. Twice.
Look, the internet is a dumpster full of stories, and I, your host, Will McFadden, dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but treasures. Listen to all 21 episodes of #Storytime now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.